She was only 16 when the world gave up on her. Her name was Amara, a name that once meant grace, but life hadn't been kind enough to let her feel it. She grew up in a small town where her voice didn't matter, where silence was safer than speaking, and where every dream she ever whispered into her pillow died by morning. Her father left when she was 6. Her mother never really returned after that, even though she lived under the same roof. She would sit on the cold tiles of their tiny kitchen, drawing patterns in spilled cereal with her finger, while listening to her mother argue with the air. By 10, Amara learned what loneliness felt like. Not the kind you cry about, the kind that lives with you, that eats with you, that walks beside you to school, then back to the empty house. She was just a child, but pain didn't wait for her to grow up. And then came the fall. She was 14 when the abuse started. Not physical at first, but emotional. From a trusted family friend, someone everyone loved, someone she was told to respect. But respect died the day he whispered things no adult should ever say to a child. She froze. She didn't tell, not once, because every time she opened her mouth to try, her body betrayed her with silence. By 15, she was numb, angry, broken in places that didn't bleed but ached daily. She started skipping school, failing classes, wandering the streets late at night, because the darkness outside was safer than the darkness within those walls. Then the drugs came. She didn't look for them, they found her. A little white pill, passed in silence behind the school gym, promised her what nothing else could, the chance to feel nothing. She said yes, and that yes turned into many. She was arrested at 16, for shoplifting, for fighting, for a bag of pills they found in her pocket that weren't hers. But she didn't bother explaining. She was tired of talking, tired of trying, tired of caring. When they brought her to the station, the officer looked at her like trash, like another lost girl, one more statistic. They didn't know that underneath the layers of scars and silence, a fire still burned, small, fragile, but alive. She was sent to a group home, room 14. That's where her story paused, not ended, paused. It was in that room, surrounded by girls just like her, angry, hardened, guarded that something shifted. She met Miss OSA, a woman in her late 40s with eyes like warm honey and a voice that could command both storms and healing. Miss OSA didn't ask Amara to change. She asked her to speak, and she listened, really listened. One night, Amara broke. The tears came like a flood, not from sadness, from the years of being unheard. She screamed, she wept, she begged to disappear, but Miss OSA didn't flinch. She simply held her hand and said, "You are not what happened to you. You are what you become after it." That night, Amara didn't sleep. She wrote. She picked up a pen and poured her pain onto paper. The first sentence read, "My name is Amara, and I have survived every single thing that tried to destroy me." It wasn't overnight. It wasn't easy. But something changed. She started attending therapy, volunteering in the kitchen, reading, teaching the younger girls how to braid hair. She smiled again, awkwardly at first, like someone learning a forgotten language. At 18, she took her GED. She failed the first time, passed the second. The group home clapped for her like she won a Grammy. At 21, she enrolled in a small community college. She worked nights cleaning offices and spent her days in classes, often too tired to think but too determined to quit. She wanted to be a counselor because she knew what it felt like to need one. At 25, she published a book, a memoir titled Room 14, Where I Remembered My Name. It didn't become a bestseller, but it became something more, a lifeline for other girls like her, scattered across the world, wondering if broken girls ever get second chances. She gave TED Talks. She was invited to speak in schools, shelters, even prisons. She didn't speak like a polished woman. She spoke like someone who bled but survived, and people listened. One day, she stood outside that same police station where her 16-year-old self was once fingerprinted and forgotten. She smiled. She walked inside, not as a criminal, but as a keynote speaker for a reform program. The same officer who once looked at her like a problem now asked for a signed copy of her book. And when they called her up to speak, she looked at the faces in the room, angry teens, confused mothers, tired officers, and said, "My name is Amara. I am not who I was, and neither are you." She paused. I was supposed to be dead, addicted, or invisible by now, but here I am, not because I'm strong, but because someone believed in the girl I forgot I was. And maybe that's all it takes sometimes. One person, one voice, one moment, to remind you, you are not your past. You are the story that rises from it. Moral lesson: no matter how broken your past, you can rise again. Amara's story shows that one voice, one moment of belief, can change everything. You are not your pain. You are what you become after it. What we learn from children. Children express themselves freely. Healing begins when we stop hiding. Children are resilient. Even in pain, they hold on to hope. Children need love, not perfection. Presence heals more than advice. Children learn, not label, like Amara. We all deserve the chance to grow. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. Build hope today.